Y'all know what time it is. Show finna be good today. Halle Berry going off on Gavin Newsom is incredible. The Game, I don't know what his rap career is doing nowadays, but he decided to make a rap song about Candace Owens. Nativity scenes depicting ICE agents. Don't play with Jesus Christ like that. Y'all all gonna go down. But anyway, Stephen A. Smith on here cooking once again. And before all of that, I want to give you guys updates on this crazy pipe bomber situation. And we also have Dan Bongino. He gives an exclusive interview, and you don't want to miss that, all right? So welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning things, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome to the show, and shout out to all my Freedom Chat fam that asked the questions. I'll get to your questions at the very end of this show. Freedom Chat, all you got to do is go to Freedom Chat, download it on your, or upload it, or however you do it. Download it on the App Store. I think that's what you call it. And if you always want to send me a message or something, your concerns or whatever the case may be, just send it to me at Brandon@freedomchat.com, Brandon@freedomchat.com. I cannot wait to answer y'all's questions. Y'all asked me a whole bunch of crazy questions, but I'm going to get to it at the end of the show. And make sure you subscribe to my, I wanted to say subscribe to my Super Chat. Subscribe to my Substack. There you go. Subscribe to my Substack, all my channels. Let's get into this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the pipe bomber, the story that gets crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. But let me, I don't know, Grant, did we verify if that was AI or not? I'm not sure. But I'm going to let you guys be the determining factor on this. In CNN, before I get to the news, before I get to the updates, Jake Tapper on CNN decided that he was going to call the suspect a white man. Now, you tell me when you see this, do you think the suspect is a white man or not? Play the clip.
Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. After nearly 5 years of investigation, the FBI finally announced that they had arrested a suspect accused of planting pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters the night before the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion.
Hold on. Now, I know I ain't colorblind. And I know he a quarter zipper. All right? You see that tie? You see the brother look like he got his stuff, got the glasses on, look like his daddy took care of him. But last time I checked, I don't think that color is white. How y'all done made him a white man? Now, look, I don't know if it's AI because there was some suspicious in this video that I caught. Let's go back just a little bit so you can see it. Right when Jake Tapper said it was a white man, somehow the screen cut. And you don't see his mouth saying white man. Now, as silly as CNN is, I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to make this dude out to be a white man, even though he's black, because they don't want a black man. It doesn't connect with what they think about black people. They don't normally associate black people with bombs. I don't associate black people with bombs. Black people don't drop bombs like that. Black people ain't doing that. This ain't no Allah Akbar. Anyway, listen to it, watch it closely, and you tell me in the comment section, do you think that this is AI and they just conjured it up right when his face went off the camera? Or did you think this fool and somebody producing this show said this was a white man? Roll the clip.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion. CNN observed local and federal law enforcement outside his home in
All right, let's get to the
Woodbridge.
news clip real quick. to give us a couple updates on what's going on, because it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. And obviously, this is not your usual suspect when it comes to bombs. Roll the clip.
Also, let's look at our other breaking news this morning. We're getting some more details on the man accused of planting pipe bombs right near the U.S. Capitol on the eve of January 6th. Sources tell CNN the 30-year-old suspect in this case, Brian Cole Jr., told investigators after his arrest he believed the 2020 election was stolen, providing the first indication into a possible motive.
Let's go live to our senior justice correspondent, Evan Perez. He's here with us in the Situation Room. What else are we learning as this investigation unfolds?
Well, Brian Cole, the suspect in this case, Wolf, sat for interviews, hours of interviews yesterday with the FBI. And among the statements that he made was that he believed the 2020 election was stolen. Now, that is a significant piece of information, simply because there's been so much conspiracy, there's been a lot of speculation as to exactly what the motivation could be. Certainly because, if you remember, those bombs were planted on January 5th of 2021, the day before the Capitol riot. They were discovered that afternoon of January 6, 2021, just as the mob of MAGA supporters was breaking through the first cordon of police lines, and then, of course, ransacking the Capitol. So the FBI investigators for a long time were trying to figure out whether the two things were connected. Now, there's certainly a lot more to learn about what his motivation was and whether this really explains everything. But certainly that statement that he provided to investigators in the last 24 hours is the beginning of the story here. Now, we know that the FBI did a lot of work over the last 5 years. You heard from the Attorney General and the Deputy FBI Director in the last 24 hours describing certainly a lot of the investigative work that is still to be done. But one of the key things that happened here was figuring out the cell phone location for this suspect that matched some of the other evidence. That only happened, Wolf, in the last few weeks, I'm told, as part of this investigation. And that is really remarkable when you think about an investigation that has cost millions of dollars, that has included dozens, perhaps even more than 100 agents that have been working on this case since this happened back in 2021.
And as you know,
now let me say this, man. I think all of y'all think of the same thing. This is about as fishy as a girl on OnlyFans. What I said? This smell about as fishy as a girl on OnlyFans. Can I say it like that? This is kind of weird. You got the black man who is not the usual suspect, and out of all the stuff he told the FBI, hours of interviews, the only thing y'all talking about is the fact that he said that the 2020 election was stolen. You telling me he didn't say nothing else? You telling him it was nothing else of significance? That the only thing from a black dude putting bombs out here was somehow that he thought the election was stolen. It's funny that they used that, because I can almost guarantee you or your money back that boy said a whole bunch of other stuff that made him clearly not a Trump supporter, and they won't capture none of that. They just put the part that he thought the 2020 election was stolen. To be honest, I don't know people that didn't think it was stolen. Well, Nick don't think it's stolen. He got a little rhino in him. We trying to pray it out of him. We got to do an exorcism to get that rhino out of him. No, I'm just kidding. Me and Nick agree on most of this stuff. But I think it's kind of fishy. OnlyFans fishy. All right? I'm going to talk about the game because I don't want you guys to – don't run away yet. We're going to talk about the game in his rap video against Candace Owens. But before we go to that, I want to play the clip from Dan Bongino, because he explains – because all the questions that we had of, like, what was Biden and them doing? And as you heard on CNN, the cell phone data tracking only happened in a couple weeks. So what were they doing this whole time? Data tracking is the most damning evidence. Well, let me let Dan Bongino talk about it real quick. Roll the clip.
You did not find any new evidence. It was all there, had been there for the longest period of time. The only difference between you and Director Wray and the Biden DOJ is they did not prioritize it. Why? And I know it wasn't easy to solve, but you did it in 8 months.
Yeah. Sean, I don't know what the hell this prior leadership team was doing outside of, targeting political opponents, weaponizing the FBI, destroying its reputation, embarrassing agents that are doing really good work out there, catching terrorists. CCP spies and everyone else. It's almost like they were intentionally trying to decimate faith in institutions. It's horrifying. I don't know what they were doing. I can tell you what happened, though, when we got there, the director and I. My first meeting, I swore in, and I kid you not, probably 15 minutes later, and the people who are in the meeting know, I said, when I get in there, I want a full brief on this pipe bomber case on day one. And I looked at the case agent after getting a full brief on what they'd done, and they had done some a pretty extensive amount of work. They had chased down, I think, thousands of leads, 6,000 plus interviews had been conducted, hundreds of tips, and it still was relatively stale, the case. And I grabbed the case agent on the way out, and I said, "You're going to get me this guy. You're going to track this guy down, and you're going to find him. You're going to get me this guy. I want him." And that started what's been almost a 9-month operation right now to make sure that we could get full accountability and transparency to the American public and find this guy. And today we did. But Sean, I have to add this because this is really important. You've heard all the cliches, team effort. You hear it all the time in sports. I said it today at the presser, but I want to emphasize this. This was a team. Judge Jeanine, Deputy Attorney General Blanche, people you and I know very well, AG Bondi. You cannot do anything in the FBI without DOJ process, subpoenas, drawn paper, search warrants, complaints, arrest warrants. Who do you think does that? It's not just us. We're the investigators. They're the lawyers. So that team from day one.
So you see what Dan Bongino was saying? He said, you're going to find this guy. You're going to catch him. You're going to prosecute the guy. This is my theory real quick. I really do believe that they had no intentions once they found out that this guy could have been this black man. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. When they found out that it's not the usual suspect, it's not leading down the usual path, they don't want people to know that there were individuals that probably wasn't even associated with Donald Trump, individuals that weren't even conservative, that were doing things nefariously. In my opinion, I doubt really that the person wanted to blow anything up because they would have. How do you drop pipe bombs places and none of them explode? They probably set them there, real pipe bombs, so that they can blame it on a conservative. I wouldn't be shocked. And the fact they didn't pursue it because they don't want to pursue anything but the narrative. The narrative is that Trump supporters stormed the Capitol and it was just as bad as 9/11, which some of these nut jobs have said. And I think it's absolutely crazy. It's the craziest thing ever, in my personal opinion. Do we have another clip associated with this? I think that's the last clip. Yeah, I think that was the last clip. And so we're going to get to the nativity scene, which I'm going to lose my mind over. We're going to get to Candace Owens. I thought I was going to do it next. My producer said, we're not going to do it next. We need to go to Halle Berry. So we're going to get to the nativity scene. We're going to get to Candace Owens and this thing. We're going to get to Kash Patel, who said some incredible things that I am going to send to Candace, because I think she probably needs to see this. I don't think she's aware of what Kash Patel is saying, but I think she needs to see it. But let's talk about Halle Berry real quick. And I'm going to say this, and I love my wife. She's the most beautiful woman in the world, but Halle Berry still look good. I don't know what kind of routine she doing. Maybe she learned it from my wife. My wife be doing all kind of routines at night. I mean, she be working. She got a little thing that she put in the freezer, and she go like this on her. I'm like, well, what are you doing all that for? She go, baby, I gotta still look good. I'm like, I love you anyway. But Halle Berry must be doing something that my wife be doing. Well, let's get to this real quick, because Halle Berry blast your boy Gavin Newsom, who's a snake oil salesman. When you got your legs crossed like he got, but the bottom leg hanging, you a snake oil salesman. The bottom leg got to be flat, bruh, because you doing a pretzel. You ain't cross your leg, bro. You doing a pretzel. And you got the loafer on the side of the pretzel. All right, Halle Berry, take it away.
Back in my great state of California, my very own governor, Gavin Newsom, has vetoed our menopause bill, not 1, but 2 years in a row. But that's okay, because he's not going to be governor forever. And with the way he's overlooked women, half the population, by devaluing us in midlife, he probably should not be our next president either. Just saying. I need every woman in this country to fight with me. But the truth is, the fight isn't just for us women. We need men too. We need all of the leaders, every single one of you in this room. This fight needs you.
And let me tell you what, she's not lying. I don't know a man on planet Earth that enjoys menopause. And I'm not saying that we experience it, but we don't want our women to experience it. And not saying that they're going to avoid experiencing it, but the act is specific. And Gavin Newsom is going to respond. I'm going to show his clip in a minute. But the Menopausal Act Equity, or the Menopausal Care Equity Act, which sounds super woke. But what it's designed to do is California bill is designed to improve menopausal and premenopausal care. It will require health insurance to cover menopause related treatment, will require medical training on menopause for doctors and providers. And the goal is to make menopause care standard and also accessible and be taken seriously. I second that. I know the women on The View are having hot flashes and all kind of stuff, and we can help them in California if we just pass this act. Now, I'm joking a little bit because I know menopause for women is very stressful, and it's got to be for their husbands, because I read up on menopause, and they don't seem fun for women, and especially men, because women don't want to play video games with you on the menopause stuff. But anyway, let me not get canceled over this. Gavin Newsom responds to Halle Berry, and this is what he said. This is what the snake, as he slithers through the airport. This is what he says. Roll the clip.
Governor, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Last question for you. Obviously, Halle Berry had some comments. Do you have any? She had.
Actually, just was connected with her manager. We're have ability to reconcile that, so we're reconciling.
So, like,
I've included it in the budget next year. She didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're reconciling.
So, how do you? What's your message to women who might have been offended by the bill, or just what do they not understand about the bill that they should understand? They didn't
understand we already were in the process of fixing it, so we're getting it fixed.
So, did you have you talked to our manager exactly, or? Governor, any chance 2028? Everyone's looking at you, expecting big things.
Way premature. 2026, all that matters. Speaker Jeffries.
What's the hardest part about your job that nobody really understands?
People like you tracking me down, brother.
Come on, brother, man, you're the man. Hey, man, I wish you all the best. Thank you for being. I appreciate it.
Slithering. People like you, brother. This is what he did, though. Gavin Newsom vetoed the bill twice, 2024 and again in 2025. He claimed that the bill was too far-reaching and could raise healthcare costs, said some coverage requirements were too strict for insurers. Now, while he's slithering through the airport, you would think that he would mention something like that or tell the truth. Like I listened to a thing, and I talked to her, and she explained to me, and we're going to add it into the budget. To say that you already added it to the budget, what did you change about the menopausal bill? Because it does not seem that Halle Berry is on track with what you're doing. And so if you have done something different, who are you talking to about it? Who made the ultimate decision to change up the Menopausal Act, the Menopausal Care Act? You're just lying. You vetoed it twice. Now, this ain't a hill that a man would understand to die on, but Halle Berry did. But y'all know who else reared his little fake head? Charlamagne the Fraud. And I don't know him very well. I call him the fraud because I'm not going to call him what he want his original name to be, because he ain't nowhere near a god. So Charlamagne the Fraud, he weighs in on this, and he makes the conversation stupider. Is that a word? Stupider? Let me ChatGPT it real quick. Is stupider a word? All right, I'm just playing. Roll the clip.
Hey, drop one of the clues bombs for Halle Berry.
Absolutely.
That call out was worth it, and this is why you should always challenge your elected officials, regardless of if they are in your party or not, or the party you support, because Gavin Newsom, like you just heard, is now including the budget for that bill in next year's budget. Mm-hmm. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And you know, now somebody should put him on blast publicly about vetoing those reparations bills as well. But It's funny though, because he goes, Halle Berry didn't know that. Yeah, because you didn't do it until after she called you out.
That's right.
Knock it off. Okay, cut it out. Trying to act like he had that in the bill before. Maybe he did, but I don't think he did, personally.
Yeah, but well, TMZ said that he did. They said that he was planning to announce it in January, but Berry's comments pushed him to announce it earlier.
Well, let me answer this question then, Mimi. The first statement that his team put out, how come they didn't say that in the first statement? Why they didn't wait until he got caught at TMZ airport?
Listen, good point. Good point. Listen, I don't make the news. I'm just reporting it. That's what they said. And he is saying that he planned to do it in January. But clearly, you're right. That's a really good point. Because if the statement, you should have said that in the statement.
In the first
earlier
statement.
Yeah.
Holly put that pressure on him, though. Salute to Holly, man. That's good. That's why. Once again, that's why you should call out and challenge your elected officials, even if they are part of the party you support.
That's right. Now, I agree with 95% of what he said, but reparations? Rob Schneider in his set, he do a comedic joke about reparations, saying that they want people who never owned slaves to pay people who were never slaves in a state that never had slavery. Why would somebody pay reparations in California is beyond me. Maybe in the South, Mississippi, Alabama, parts of Texas, you know, I can see how people may want reparations. It's too late. Y'all didn't waited too late. Martin Luther King should have been on that, but somehow they didn't do it. And for you to still be asked for reparations is insane to me, bruh. Everybody and their mama know there's no way we could pay reparations. What happens in a biracial family? Do I get the reparations and my wife have to pay me for the reparations? What about biracial kids? Do they get reparations because they have a drop of black people in them? I do not understand. And then, brother, listen, let me tell y'all this. Share this with your cousin them who's still stuck on cocaine and crack. That'd be a better term. Stuck on crack or meth that still think reparations make sense. All reparations is going to do, let me put it this way. If I was a Fortune 500 company, no, forget all that Fortune 500 stuff. If I own Gucci, if I own Louis Vuitton, if I own Saint Laurent, if I own Versace, if I own all of these places, give them the reparations. If I own Mercedes, if I own G-Wagons, which is Mercedes, if I own, what black people be driving? Rolls Royces. If I own some of these high-end cars, if I own the company, give the black people reparations. If I own hair weave, I'm going to start a weave company. And I don't even do weave. I'm going to start a hair weave company. Because when they give black people reparations, that money going to go from the pocket of the black man, where it's going to go from the pocket of the black man when they pay taxes, to the pocket of the black man just to go to these high-end organizations. That's what's going to happen. Put your money on it. The way that minorities or black people spend their money today is not going to change when you give them reparations. It's going to be what we call it, say it with me, y'all, exacerbated. It's going to be exacerbated. And as I promised you guys, I'm going to talk about Candace Owens because we got to talk about that, and Kash Patel goes really well with the Candace Owens conversation. But first, we need to talk about the nativity scene. Now, look, I'm not a big fan of nativity scenes, right? Sometimes I think they get weird, right? Jesus wasn't white. Now, I ain't saying it matter if he was white or not, but why y'all got to make him white? Why can't you make him look like he probably did? He was probably brown skinned. He wasn't an Anglo-Saxon with blonde hair, blue-eyed kid in the manger. Quit making nativity. Y'all doing too much. But in the spirit of doing too much, look at what these people done did with the freaking, I want to say reparation, with the nativity scene. I don't know why y'all keep playing with God. Come on and show the nativity scene of these crazy people. Roll the clip.
You hear, Kate, an Illinois church's nativity scene.
Hold on a second. Jeff, y'all need to call down there to Newsmax and help that lady lighting. She looked like she was resurrected. She went down and she came back a ghost. God dang. I thought my wife was white. Boy, this lady right here look like this piece of paper over here. She probably a good lady, so don't get mad at her. But God, y'all get that lady some better lighting. She glowing in the dark. But roll the clip.
Getting a lot of attention this year. It features a baby Jesus in zip ties with Roman soldiers dressed as ICE agents and Mary and Joseph wearing gas masks. And according to the church's Facebook page, the display is meant to challenge viewers, adding the Holy Family were refugees. This is what they're saying. Your thoughts on this?
That's, I hate to say it, one of the most wild things that I've seen lately, and I've seen wild stuff. I mean, for a church to do this, I mean, I think your job as a person who has purview over people. You have a pulpit. It is your job to tell people the truth. And taking people who are doing their job, like these ICE agents, and criminalizing them in this manner, which is what they're doing. They're trying to force or maybe make people think a little bit of hatred toward them because, when people think of this story, they think, oh, these people were bad because they came after Jesus, right? So they're saying that these poor people, here is ICE coming to persecute them. I think it's disgusting and an overreach, and it's not a church I would attend.
Yeah, I'm a Catholic, and I would go so far as to say it's blasphemous. But on that note, Kate Monroe and Robin Byro, thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Now, Kate the Friendly Ghost was right about this. I'm just kidding. Kate, don't get mad at me because I think you were very smart. Your lighting was messed up. I got to make a joke. I want people to laugh, right? We always serious all day long. Can we laugh? Okay, Kate the Friendly Ghost, she was right. Why don't y'all add more stuff to this, right? Why y'all got to put the ICE agents in this? Jesus' escape from King Herod ain't got nothing to do with ICE raids. It ain't got nothing to do with ICE raids. And to be honest, you should be thanking ICE if you want to make this scenario, because that drew our Lord and Savior to fulfill the promise through the crucifixion, and now we have life. When I look at the Romans, they were just doing their job. They were doing their part. Shout out to them. When people say, and the funny thing is, make Jesus and them a Jew. Show the anti-Semitism. Oh, y'all don't want to do that game, do you? Y'all don't want to play that game. Put the Jew in the manger. And had the anti-Semites coming after the Jew. They ain't gonna never do nothing like that. They don't want to play the real game. They ain't read no Bible. When you go to church and you read that book, you need to just follow the book. The book ain't said nothing about no ICE agents. There wasn't no border patrol. Why y'all playing? And this is what the modern church be doing. I'm telling y'all, man, some of these churches be preaching like that. Jesus was a refugee. Jesus wasn't an illegal alien. There's a difference between being a refugee and an illegal alien. And Jesus was our Lord and Savior. So I don't know why y'all trying to play games. Now, while y'all playing that game, come on, play it out then. So I guess at the end of this, ICE agents get to crucify people. That's what I thought. Quit playing with God. I think the people really believe that stuff. Ain't read no Bible, ain't got no theology behind it, and didn't go to seminary school. A lot of them went to what I call cemetery school. It's where you go to learn how to kill your salvation. Now let's go to Candace Owens real quick, and then we're going to get Kash Patel, because I think y'all going to want to see this Kash Patel thing. Now, Kash Patel ain't say nothing that I don't know. Did he? Did he, Jeff? Did he, Grant? Did he, Nick? They didn't say it. They didn't say nothing we don't already know. But I think some people need to know that they need to know when they know it. All right, let's play the game, making a rap music video about Candace Owens, making her even more popular than she already is. I don't know why Candace is a magnet for, like, popularity. Man, the same people that say they hate Candace be the ones making her a monster. When I say a monster, meaning making her a monster in the industry. She's the most talked about person probably in the world right now. And they be on there sneak dissing, but they elevating her brand. They keep putting money in her pocket. Hey, go ahead and put the money in her pocket then. Now, I'm a hot side Candace on this. I don't think Candace listen to rap music. or her producer wrote this out like this. I love you, Candace. Roll the clip.
In other assassination news, I wanted to mention to you that The Game, who is a hip-hop rapper, is releasing an album, and he has a song on his track list in this upcoming album that's entitled The Assassination of Candace Owens. I'm having like the best year ever or something. I don't know. Why The Game? Why's it got to be song number 13? What's going on? This better not be predictive programming, okay? We know how Hollywood gets down, okay? We're reading your books. Anyways, he was asked this question, this exact question, why? And he gave an answer, and here's what The Game had to say.
You know what? Let's play the Game clip real quick. That fool, hold on, Game. You got so much money, bro. Let me put you in contact with my guy to do that beard up real quick. Because your beard game, you need some beard oil or something, bro. You got too much money for your beard to be looking like this. The game look like he homeless. Maybe he is homeless. That's why he making music again. I think he ain't made nothing in 10 years. I don't know another game song that came out in 10 years. But he on it. He hustling. He playing the game. Wrote a clip.
There's this like one track called The Assassination of Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Why that title?
Because recently I've been seeing like conspiracy theories and about Candace Owens from herself, self-admitted. She feels like people are conspiring her. So what it was is more so an assassination of the character. So I just used that because it was like current news, but it's not. The song is not about Candace.
Oh, okay. So it's just a little bit deeper than okay.
Yeah, I'm a rapper. We use metaphors,
Okay, but aren't you? I mean, are you worried about Candace coming for you about this? I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not worried about Candace. But then again, you got to hear the song.
Okay, so she'll understand if she hears the song, maybe.
I mean, the thing is, she said that people were trying to assassinate her. So all I did was say it too. You know what I'm saying? So again, the song is not about her, but Candace Owens, man, she real smart. Really intelligent woman. But if she comes for me, I mean, it is what it is, man.
Okay, so you're not worried. Okay, so you once said that the current, state of rap is like trash. So is your mixtape the fix for this? I mean, are we reminding the people like what rap's supposed to sound like?
My mixtape is 20 years in the making. It's a me and Drama thing, something that we always wanted to do. Me and Drama are really good friends, always have been. We wanted to do a gangster for a long time. We finally got to do it. So this mixtape is nothing but an ode to a long-standing friendship and music for my fans before my album.
Okay, so when does it officially drop? When can we hear it?
The mixtape dropped Friday.
All right, somebody get him a quarter zip. Maybe he'll straighten it up a little bit. Gang got tattooed on his head and everything. Boy, what you doing? All right, let's finish Candace's clip, and then we're gonna listen to a little bit of his music, so you can hear what kind of music he's putting out these days. Roll the clip.
It is what it is. There's beef in these streets, okay? There's beef in these streets, and you better be scared because maybe I am coming for you, okay? I could be coming for you. I might drop a whole album. I might drop a whole mixtape too, okay? Anyways, I think it is a form of flattery. Obviously, I'm friends with Ye. And he makes music, and they do use a lot of metaphors, so I'm not offended by this. Do I love the timing? Could I get a break for 6 months, maybe, and not have that title be there? Sure, but I'm totally okay with this. I think it's kind of cool. I actually kind of think it's cool. I hope the song lyrics are cool, and it's not a diss track, and it's not gonna be like Eminem crying about me on a whole album, but I look forward to the song. I hope you feel free to use a little audio from the podcast. That would be cool. You could use a strip of me saying something. Everything is fake and gay would be super, super fly. Everything is fake and gay. Please put that in the song. That's my only request.
Keep Candace on the screen. Look, I don't know. I don't care what you think about Candace or not. One thing you can't say is that she's not brilliant. You can say she's brilliantly good or evil. But you can't say she's not brilliant. Candace Owens is doing something that nobody can do. And that is staying relevant. That is beating everybody at their game. Journalism, conspiracies. Alex Jones gonna have to run for his money. Candace Owens is the conspirator. The rap song had a conspiracy in it, according to Candace Owens. But anyway, man, listen to the song that The Game did about Candace. And if you don't like rap music, don't worry about listening to it. It ain't got no cussing in it, right? I don't think it got no cussing in it. We try to get that blurred out. We actually want to be Christ-like on this show. Let's play the clip from The Game, and then you'll see that it's really not about Candace, to be honest. Roll the clip.
Do you believe this is America? This is America. Let that woman speak her truth, and I will love her like my mama. Love her like Kamala. Love her like Obama. Truth is, truth hurts. It's like a neck shot. Who really killed Charlie Kirk? and his body is not yet settled in the dirt. Why are you carrying on like that? Are you an Andre 3000 verse?
Dang, that was cool. I ain't no shade on. Let me be honest with y'all, man. When I was young, I used to listen to the Game. I thought the Game went hard. I liked his songs. I used to like his albums. You know what I'm saying? Then when I started putting my quarter zips on and I became a man and had kids, I realized they ain't talking about nothing in these rap songs. They ain't talking about nothing, bro. They saying the same thing they were saying. They still talking about how back in the day they used to be gangbangers. Bro, you ain't gangbanging no more. Maybe the Game's still gangbanging. Bro, you like 50-something. You still gangbanging? We got another clip of Candace Owens. Let's play the clip real quick, and then we're going to get to Kash Patel. Yeah. What's the one for her last night? What's she say? Oh, I'll leave that out. Well, yeah, we'll cut that whole part out. So now we're going to go to Kash Patel? Okay. All right, now I didn't beat up the rappers. They're going to be coming for me. But I got a guy that'll take care of business if you play. All right, let me get off of that. Kash Patel on Megyn Kelly. I need to have Kash Patel on my show. Kash, if you're looking at this, any of my people that can get, I'm just going to message Kash on the social media. But if y'all know him directly, tell him to come on the show because I want to talk to him about this whole thing. And Megyn Kelly, she interviewed Kash Patel, which Megyn Kelly, I think she does a really good show. There's some things that I disagree with, but it's an 80-20 thing. I think I agree with 80% of what Megyn Kelly say. 20% I don't agree with. It's probably the same with me. But we're going to go to Megyn Kelly and listen to what Kash Patel say. And the reason, and you're going to know when he say what he say, the reason why I did this right after Candace Owens' show. No shade thrown, but this is the FBI director, and this is what he's saying after Megyn Kelly asked him some pointed questions. Roll the clip.
Let me start with this, the most obvious. Do you believe that we have the proper suspect in custody? Do you believe that Tyler Robinson is, in fact, the man who killed Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Do you believe he acted with the help of anyone else?
This investigation is being led by the Utah state authorities because it is a murder investigation. So the FBI is a supporting role in the investigative process. And so what we're doing is the same thing we did in the pipe bomb investigation. The investigation is ongoing for us. If there's any new leads or tips, we are exhausting them with search warrants and legal process. But at the same time, we are working with the prosecutors in Utah to make sure we don't screw up their investigation. Because again, the worst outcome would be if the guy that killed Charlie Kirk walks out of a United States courtroom in the state of Utah. And so it's a delicate balance again, but there is no way this FBI is going to stop that investigation until it reaches its all-conclusive endpoint.
Do you believe any foreign government had a role in his assassination?
At this time, the FBI doesn't have credible information to connect any foreign governments to it. But as I said, we are continuing to take investigative leads. We're not done. Just because we arrest someone, just like in the pipe bomber case, we don't just say, okay, we're done, on to the next. The investigative team continues to work with the Utah authorities, and they're deriving their own leads and coming back to us and say, hey, can you look at this piece of information? Can we get a search warrant on this account? What about this individual who is located in X, Y, or Z? We're tracking all that down.
Do you have any credible reason to believe that anyone
Hold on, before she asks that
with
question,
the turning point?
I want to clear this up real quick. If you notice that he said the local government is investigating a murder, and then they refer to the FBI. And the reason that they would refer to the FBI to take certain leads is because there's certain federal jurisdiction. So if somebody has a cell phone or there are certain search warrants that the federal government can do that the local government cannot do, right? To tap your cell phone, to tap into social media, that's a federal jurisdictional thing because social media goes across the entire world. So the jurisdiction is not local. The FBI has the ability to get a search warrant and to go through that process and get that information on a broader and major scale. Roll it.
Organization had anything to do
and
with
hold on. Her question was that, is any organization like Turning Point USA have anything to do with this? Roll the clip.
His death.
Zero.
On the subject, there's been an allegation made by prominent podcaster Candace Owens that she's received a death threat, a credible death threat from the French, that a threat has been made on her life, and that the French, she's been told, also may have had a role in Charlie's assassination. Have you looked into either of those? Do you believe she's received a credible death threat from the French, or that the French had something potentially to do with Charlie's death?
Any American that receives a death threat from overseas or anywhere in America is going to be fully investigated. So we're not going to turn our eye away from that investigation or any others. If there's anything to it, this FBI will respond to it.
Okay, but so far, no.
So we are just looking at everything that comes in. We're not going to reject any piece of information. If someone feels that their life is being threatened, we are, of course, looking at it.
I can verify that myself, because we've received some very dark things here at our show, and you guys have always been very responsive in looking hard at the people who send them. Can I ask you, Kash, the text messages between Tyler Robinson and his roommate Lance Twiggs, the reason a lot of people think Tyler didn't do it is because they sound kind of fake. You know, the wording just sounds a little strange. Like, I thought they caught the person, or no, you weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. They go on from there. Why did I do it? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred, and so on. Do you have any reason to believe that text exchange was not real between them for whatever reason, potentially even having been orchestrated between the two of them?
Look, I understand the emotion behind this case. Charlie was my friend. He was your friend. He was assassinated in the most brutal way in a public forum where he was trying to have engagement with the youth of the United States of America. And while I was representing the White House at Ground Zero in New York City on 9/11, we made the decision to pivot immediately and fly out to Utah to make sure we executed this manhunt. We went out there, the FBI seized the video evidence and put it out to the public immediately. And then this individual was caught in 33 hours. And so I understand that there's so much charged emotion on the other evidence that was collected, the notes that you were talking about, the text message, excuse me. And we present that information to the prosecutors to make the determination based on the evidence we have as to whether or not they were real. I can't stylize or comment on it because it's an ongoing investigation, but I don't believe the prosecutors in the state of Utah would be using any piece of information or evidence that was not credible.
All right, so let me speak to this real quick. The reason that he said that is because they used this evidence to prosecute the killer, Tyler Robinson. They used it in the affidavit. So when you use information in the affidavit to prove your probable cause, that means that your reason for arresting somebody, you will not use something that's fake because you will lose your whole case. They could have left that part out of it. They don't really need that to prosecute Tyler Robinson because they got so much other evidence. So a reasonable prosecutor that is not going to drop the ball on this case, which is the biggest case in Utah history ever, one of the biggest cases in American history, they're not going to use that in the affidavit, sworn testimony that it is true and factual evidence. And this is why Kash Patel is saying that. If they felt that it was iffy, if it was questionable, they would not use it because there would be a fodder. There would be fuel for the fire for the defense team to say, this is fake. And if this is fake, then this could be fake. And if this is fake and they didn't know it was fake, they're not doing a good job at prosecuting. They're trying to rush to judgment and all these other things. Nobody in a right mind would characterize and say that a text message is real and it's inauthentic. They don't need the text messages. When you have testimony from the parents to identify Tyler Robinson as the person on the film who did the crime, you're not going to waste your investigation by putting a questionable note that, do you think the people investigating read that and thought, that sounds totally normal? They scrutinized it. I could put my career on it. They scrutinized it. I was an investigator. These are normal people. They do investigations year-round. They're not going to look at something and go, yeah, that sounds really stupid. Let's submit that to the court as evidence and let the defense team tear us apart and lose this entire case. And the person who killed Charlie, which they obviously believe it, and so does Erica Kirk, will walk free because they have evidence that they sworn in the affidavit was true, was not true at all. Your whole case will be questioned. They will present that to the jury, and the jury will question everything you do from that point. And to be honest, that evidence is not really that relevant. It's a sort of a confession, and they don't need it. So that's why Kash said that, and I agree with him. Roll the clip. We got 44 seconds left.
Last but not least on Charlie, there were texts by certain trans individuals online before the assassination talking about something big is going to be happening, and then after he was killed saying, and there it is, leading many of us to wonder whether there was some sort of trans-Tifa connection to the murder, or at least maybe some tip-off to the community. Is that under investigation?
That is most definitely under investigation, and we've disclosed a lot of that to the prosecution, or all of it that we have, and they've made some of it public to include that he was in a relationship with an individual who was part of that community, and that he was engaged in communications with other individuals in that community. But as to how they relate to the prosecution, that's up to the Utah prosecutors to say, we need this in court.
Now, to me, I think this is very telling and revealing. And I do think that what would be a good opportunity is for Kash Patel, which he probably won't do. And I think because if I was an FBI person, I would be very upset with what other people are saying, especially what Candace is saying if I was an FBI agent. However, I think that it would be very interesting if Candace were to invite him onto the show to have a conversation about these things. Let me give you a better thing. I think what would be cool is for Candace to have a former investigator, a former FBI agent whom she trusts, to come on her show and explain the investigatory process, to have a police officer or somebody that works in local law enforcement, especially that either used to work in Utah or work in a similar jurisdiction, to come on and explain how investigations work, the ways that they do and don't work, the misconceptions in the public, and allow her to grill that person on some of the questions that she have so they can provide some clarity. Because the problem with a lot of these things is that if you don't know how investigations work, you will continue to have these questions floating in your mind that can be easily debunked or easily reasoned with if you knew how this stuff works. Is it possible that they just made all this stuff up? It's possible, but it's not plausible. They don't have to make up a lie against a kid that didn't do it. Because in the court of law, it will be found out very quickly, very swiftly, and the person who killed Charlie will be still out on a prowl. Your reputational damage will never be overcome if you are a person that is presenting false information. For what reason? There is no reason to lie. There is no reason to blow this case. In my opinion, based on everything I've seen, based on my investigatory experience and others who I know in this industry, FBI agents and also people who work in law enforcement, this is a cut and dry case. This is pretty cut and dry. I honestly believe, based on everything that I've known, and I've heard some birdies floating around, that the round matches the gun. And that's the end of there's no more open doors. The only open door in this case would have been if the round did not match the weapon that it was allegedly fired from. But if the round matched the weapon, it's case closed. DNA evidence on the gun, DNA evidence on the ammo, a spent casing in the gun belonging to the suspect's father, grandfather, the weapon identified by dad, the surveillance footage, the witness statements, the surveillance footage which was brought to the attention to law enforcement by dad and mom who identified their son on that camera. You got video of him in the area at the Dunkin' Donuts or Dairy Queen or wherever that place is. You got him in the area. That kid lived like 200 miles away from there. It's no reason for him to even be in the area. His presence in the area matches the statements in the text message, which alluded to the fact that he was waiting around to try to go get the gun. You got all of this evidence. You got circumstantial evidence. You got confessions. You got confessions for Lil Twigs and them. This is an open and shut case, to be honest. And if you actually read the affidavit, you will see they have geo-tracking on the phone. They got him searching on Google Maps. All this is electronic information that's brought into evidence that will be presented in the court of law and will be scrutinized by the defense. Every investigatory lead that the prosecution has, that they consider evidence, they submit to the court, also has to be submitted to the defense team. And for those of you who have been following this, when he hired an actual defense team and not an appointed defense team, they said they needed prolonged time to go through and evaluate all of the evidence. And all of the evidence is pretty clear if you ask me. And I would love for Candace Owens to have an opportunity to hear from people who are in the government to explain some of these things that she has questions about. Now, let me get to this last part because I think it's invaluable, and I think that my card just got delivered. I gave a donation to an incredible organization, and I don't know what the 501c3 name of it is, but the organization that I gave money to, and it was kind of like an auction thing, and so I was able to get a car as a donation, or the donation was a gift, the car was a gift, something like that. I don't want to get nobody. I don't want to know the legal ramifications behind it though, but it's an old school Cadillac car, but I think they're going to deliver it. But the organization and what they do is when prisoners get out, or people who are incarcerated get out, they need to learn skills. So they allow them to go and build cars, and this was one of the cars that they built, work with their hands, finally get their life back, because a lot of these people are felons. And so that was a good nonprofit to work with, and I'll let you guys know more details, but it just caught my attention because I just saw them and they text me. I'll let you know on my thing. I'll show you guys a picture of it. But regardless of that, let's get to Stephen A. Smith real quick, and then we're going to get up out here. You hear me? All right, so Stephen A. Smith had a caller that hung up on, or Stephen A. Smith hung up on a caller and blasted him. I got to have Stephen A. Smith on the show again. Y'all comment in the comment section. Should I have Stephen A. Smith on the show again? I want to have Stephen A. Smith sit right over here on my show and have a conversation with him about a lot of other things. But let's roll this clip because this was quite interesting. Roll it.
There's always complaints. But when you castigate people like that, you eradicate the potential for an intelligent discussion about the issues, bro. You better than that, Malik. You smarter than that. Be better. Be smarter. When you call back up, have salient points to make, which we both know you're capable of, instead of going to some weak-ass position that they can plausibly deny any day of the week. What Republican do you think is going to listen to you if you say they're racist? So every Republican's racist. So you know what that means? That if you got a job, which we know you do, and you work for a Republican, which you probably do and don't even know, you think they're racist too. Where that going to get you? Come on, bro. You better than that.
I know up front the Republicans, or Republicans, as I call them because of the Epstein thing, they're straight racist. I already know that. Because it's a double standard.
Time out. So what we're going to do is we're going to say Republicans are racist as opposed to specific names. You're just going to call an abundance of people racist.
A blanket across the board. The Republicans are straight racist.
Goodbye, man. Have a nice day. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not letting anybody on either side of the aisle castigate an entire party of people like that. I'm not doing that. That gets us nowhere. Malik, you can call back any other show. But if you have points, make your point. All of us? If you don't want to be castigated and stigmatized and labeled, the first order of business to insulate yourself from stuff like that is to make sure you don't do it to other people. Don't do it. There is ample ammunition to go after Republicans about every day, all day. I don't like the way they handled the shutdown. I don't like the fact that they were willing to cost 42 million people on SNAPs access to food stamps that would ultimately enable them to feed themselves. I don't like the fact that the Democrats used it and weaponized it and was going after subsidies for the Affordable Care Act to get their point across, knowing they didn't have a snowball's chance in hell in getting that through the continual resolution. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Not from either side. There's always complaints. But when you castigate people like that, you eradicate the potential for an intelligent discussion about the issues, bro. You better than that, Malik. You smarter than that. Be better. Be smarter. When you call back up, have salient points to make, which we both know you're capable of, instead of going to some weak-ass position that they can plausibly deny any day of the week. What Republican do you think is going to listen to you if you say they're racist? So every Republican's racist. So you know what that means? That if you got a job, which we know you do, and you work for a Republican, which you probably do and don't even know, you think they're racist too. Where that going to get you? Come on, bro. You better than that.
I agree with him 1,000%. I don't know why people are saying these things with these blanket statements. Republicans are all racist. That's crazy. That's the craziest thing you can ever say. You can't point to the racists, but they are racist. Blanket statement racist. Because they're doing what? Republicans are not just white people. And they overuse the term racist. If you ask me, I think Republicans are less racist than any other group. Democrats are the ones that are more racist than anybody else. Is every Democrat a racist? No. But a lot of them are racist. All right? Now let's get to, I want to get to some questions from our Freedom Chat audience. And so if you're a part of Freedom Chat and you ask the question, I'm going to answer your question right now. But before we get there, I want to make sure you guys go. And if you're not a part of Freedom Chat, join the conversation on Freedom Chat. All you got to do is download Freedom Chat on your app store. Just put Freedom Chat. You see the little logo here right there. When you see that logo, go and download Freedom Chat and join the conversation. You can ask your questions, and I'll answer your questions at the end of the show. If you like to read, contrary to what people say about me, I do like to read. And I like to read good quality articles, and I write those on Substack. So go to my Substack, The Officer Tatum on Substack, do that. Synergy. If you're looking for incredible sleep, I'm going to stick with the sleep right now. Literally, I've been on 2-3 hours of sleep because I stay up all night. But literally, I take Synergy, and it felt like I slept for 8 hours. Yesterday, I woke up at like 5 a.m., went to Texas, did my show, drove to Dallas, did a ribbon cutting ceremony, I did a little speech, whatever. After the show, came back, ended up landing back in Arizona at like 12 o'clock at night. I got tired a little bit towards the end, but that's on 2 hours of sleep. And that's because Synergy helps you get a real night sleep, real deep REM sleep. A lot of y'all be sleeping for 15 hours and got 1 hour of REM sleep. I sleep for 2 hours and I got 2 hours of REM sleep. So anyway, get you some Synergy, money back guarantee. If it don't give you the energy you like, if it don't give you the great night's sleep and your T-Force ain't making you a better man, I'll give your money back. Because it's not about money to me. It's about making a difference. And the reason I can make a crazy claim like that is because ain't nobody asked for a refund yet. That's because it works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's good for now. Let me get to some of the questions from Freedom Chat. All right, some of y'all don't know how to ask one question, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. This person, Leanne, said, too many questions. Was that really a pipe bomb? Yes, it was officially a certified pipe bomb. It was functional. It just did not deploy. Somebody said, is Candace Owens insane? I'll leave it up to you to make the determination of what you think about Candace Owens based on what you've read. I'll leave it up to y'all. How do I survive Christmas this year with the division in my family? Don't bring up politics. Just try to stay away from the politics. And when they do, you just say, all right. Because they can bring up stuff and you can be critical. They can be critical of you and you can handle it. But when you critical of them, they throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. I say avoid it. You know, you got people who talk about Donald Trump in my family, and if I don't want to go there, I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm not finna argue with you. Y'all want to argue with me? I do this for a living. Don't even make my day. I have somebody record this, put this on a podcast. Another question from McCall says, well, I'll just read the statement. It says, can't wait and appreciate all that you do. My question will be directed to our future of the Republican Party. Do we have a chance to win the next presidential election? And do you see J.D. Vance as a top contender? I think we have an incredible chance to win. The Democrats have absolutely nobody. They have no message and they have nobody to present their no message. And J.D. Vance, in my personal opinion, is an extension of Donald Trump. He's working with Donald Trump. His leadership is being mimicked, or his leadership is being curated by what he believes that Donald Trump is doing. I think he's going to follow suit. I think he believes in everything that we believe in. I think he's a formidable candidate. I think I love the way he processes things. I love the way he speaks. He has a level of authority. He's a family man. He's a Christian guy. I love everything about him, and I'm voting for him. I can't see nobody else I'll vote for other than J.D. Vance. Somebody said, I know you're close to Candace, but what are your thoughts on what she's been doing or saying? I'll just say it like this. Y'all hear me talk. You hear where I stand, and you know that I disagree with some of the things that she has said. And I know she disagreed with the things that I've said. And I don't know any other way to talk about it. Obviously, her and I are friends, and I'm a loyal person to people that I call friends. And I'm not going to get on here and bash anybody. I'm not going to get here and bash Candace. I bash everybody else. I'm not bashing Candace. I love Candace. I'll bash her on a text message. But what I will say is that some of the things that she has said, I don't agree with. The position she's taken on Charlie Kirk, I don't see it that way at all. Some of the things with the assassination attempt, when she was telling me on a text message, I believe that she was telling me something that she really believed. And I thought she should have gave it to the authorities. And pretty much that's my thoughts on that. How big do you think Freedom Chat can get, and what excites you most about it? Well, first of all, I wouldn't be a part of Freedom Chat if I didn't think this would be the #1 chat in the world. The Freedom Chat will be the #1 chat in the world. Freedom Chat is encrypted. Freedom Chat gives you the freedom to have free conversations. And I know the people who started it. I know the team that built it. I'm a part of the company. I'm an investor in the company. I put my name behind this company. And so I'm very confident in all the things that we're going to continue to roll out. It's going to be the #1 chat in the world. And if you are an investor, I'm telling you right now, you better get in before it blow up and become a $1 billion company, and you're going to look back and say, well, I should have done something. When Freedom Chat is a multi-billion dollar company, if you didn't invest and you had the means to invest, you're going to feel sorry. When Freedom Chat is the leading chat company, leading chat group, and I'm sure we're going to have some cool things for the founding people that start, you're going to wish that you started early. I use Freedom Chat every single day. I talk to my staff on Freedom Chat. I talk to my security team on Freedom Chat. All of it is encrypted. And a lot of you guys now follow me on Freedom Chat. And I'll have exclusive stuff just for the people to join the conversation on Freedom Chat. So I'm very excited about Freedom Chat. This is one of the most exciting ventures that I've ever been a part of. And I'm saying that with my whole heart. Somebody wrote a whole paragraph, and I'm not going to answer that. Okay. Do we think that there is going to stick to requirements for SNAP? I see community service part being a joke unless they regulate it. Instead of my uncle having veterans, or instead of my uncle, he's a veteran, and do community service at a local legion. I'm not really sure. Y'all know I can't read. I'm not really sure what you're saying. Do I think that SNAP? I'm not really sure the full details of this question. I think they need to clean up the SNAP program for sure. When I was growing up, I knew people doing fraud. That's all they do is fraud. And there's so much fraudulent activity in the system. You see what the Somalians doing, $1 billion worth of fraud. I mean, that's just the Somalians. Our country probably has $20 billion worth of fraud in SNAP. And then if you're going to be on the SNAP program, at least you can get these people some good food so that they not end up at the hospital. And then we got to pay for medical care for people who getting free nasty food. It's like a cycle. We pay them, we give them money to get bad food just to pay them to be in the hospital all the time. We need to fix that. All right, another question is, if you are not working, what's your favorite thing to do? That's a really good question. All I do is work. I think one of the favorite things to do is to spend time with my kids, man. I don't get this time to spend time with my oldest son because he's doing a lot of stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff. But it is enjoyable when me and my oldest son get it to one-on-one time and go shooting and go doing stuff together. Because, when I see my oldest son, I see myself. It's kind of funny looking at my teenage self. Looking at my son, I'm very proud of him. I love my son, Caden. He's a miracle baby to me. And that's a really fun thing to do, spending time with my youngest son, Lil Bo Jangles. He just make my day. He make me want to throw him through a wall sometimes, but then when he say, Daddy, I love you, I just everything he ever did in his life, I forget about. And I can't forget spending time with my wife. That's a wonderful thing. I love my wife. I feel sorry for men that's married to women they don't love. I love talking to my wife every day. I call my wife multiple times while I'm at work. When we at the house, we talk politics. I love my wife more than anything else in the world. And so I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy smoking cigars. That's my pastime. I smoke a cigar every single day when I can. Those are the things I really like doing. I just really enjoy peace of mind, smoking a cigar, and relaxing. All right, I think I got a couple more questions here. Somebody said, where do you live? I live in Arizona. How do you respond when Trump says no illegals are coming in and I know the difference, or I know different? I'm in a position that knows certain things, and a man went to Mexico 2 weeks ago and somehow brought all of his family back with no papers. Well, I don't like if Donald Trump is not telling the truth, man. Donald Trump mixes the truth with wishful thinking a lot. Sometimes he'll say exaggerated things that are not true because I feel like he thinks he's speaking into existence. I do think we need to be very clear and concise on what is happening and what's not happening. And I know Donald Trump is saying that virtually nobody's coming in. Virtually the border is closed. There are still people that are coming through. And I think we need to do a better job at articulating that so we can handle the issues when the issues need to be handled. Shout out to everybody on Freedom Chat. If you want to ask me questions, I'm going to try to do this every show. If you want to ask me questions, I'll do some cool things for my Freedom Chat people. So as soon as you get on Freedom Chat, join the conversation, I'll post different things and I'll give you a shout out. I love all of y'all. Thank y'all for joining Freedom Chat. It is one of the things that make me happy every day is that we're doing something positive. We're doing something positive for the people, for the movement, and we're doing things with integrity. So I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the